Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with a top 5 video for you, and tonight is actually the anniversary of my channel. 4 years, over 700 videos, and not one goddamn script. I had a concept, I had a gimmick, and I stuck with it. So just going to give myself a bit of a attaboy there. Now, to celebrate, I'm doing a list I can't believe I haven't done before. My top 5 all-time greatest movie stars. Personal favorite picks, of course, and there are a few rules here I'll get to in just a second. Excuse me. As I said, personal picks, and I gotta point out, there's not gonna be any Betty Davis or Meryl Streep on these because, those weren't the movies I grew up watching and wanted to go play in the backyard. I'm a dude. I like the dude movies. The dude movie stars were the ones that I gravitated towards in their work. And also, this is kind of based on who are those actors that even, in some cases, decades after their deaths, are still, if I've never heard this of a movie, never seen this movie, somebody says, well, what's his name is the star of it. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, let's check it out. They have to be dead to make this list. Otherwise, it's way too cluttered, way too big. Otherwise, my number one would be Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson's my all-time favorite actor. I've said that before. Also, I'm going with leading men, not just legendary character actors. Like your William H. Macy's, what have you. Mainly because I just want the reason I want the dead. Another good reason is because it's I don't want the dead. It also will help kind of narrow it down, and it's a legacy intact. So I'm going to tell you a little bit what I may know about these guys. I might give you some false information here, but I didn't have a lot of time to do research on this. I've been working for a week straight. But like I said, just my opinions. Don't be a dick. And as far as ranking these guys go, kind of throw them up in any order. But the top 2 stay the top 2. 1 second. Number 5. Forgot my ranking already. Number 5, I would say Jack Lemmon. Hitting the ground running. Maybe the greatest comedic actor of all time. Is actors who are able to just perfectly find characters and were always different, but still had that movie star persona, that kind of Jack Lemmon role you need. Lemmon passed away in 2001. As I said, was a comic genius. Won 2 Academy Awards. One of the few actors, or the handful of actors. Considering how many people have won Oscars, one of the few actors who've won Oscars for both lead and supporting acting roles. He's nominated several other times. Great comedy team with Walter Matthau. I believe they did 7, maybe 8 movies together. Don't count JFK, just their team movies. And as far as movies of his most highly recommended, I got to talk about, and based on his performances as well, got to talk about The Odd Couple. Got to talk about The Front Page, an unappreciated film, is a hysterical movie. I think it actually got bad reviews when it first came out. The movie is great. A stunning performance in David Mamet's Glengarry Glen Ross, which is kind of a bit of a cult film. It's become a bit. The Apartment, as we may have already said, and Erna LaDouce. It's just see a Jack Lemmon movie, and of course, the golden ticket for Jack Lemmon is Some Like It Hot. I would say the best comedy in movie history. Terrific work. It's impossible to remake it because we don't have Jack Lemmon. Number 4, Peter OToole. Now, I've said before, I believe that Peter OToole is the greatest actor to ever perform in film. His presence, his class, his grace as a movie star is second to nobody. He is the top tier. He never won an Oscar. But I believe he is tied with Richard Burton for being the actor with the most nominations without ever winning. However, in 2003, he received an honorary Career Lifetime Achievement Oscar, and it is personally one of my favorite Oscar memories. Just had so much class and character and charm. It was great. It's one of my favorite Oscar moments. And of course, movies of his I gotta recommend. Well, Lawrence of Arabia, Beckett, My Favorite Year, The Lion in Winter, The Stuntman, The Ruling Class, fascinating film, and fuck it, Phantoms. By the way, he picked up another Oscar nomination after he got his honorary Lifetime Oscar. Fucking Peter O'Toole's the shit, man. Number 3, Boris Karloff. Karloff is nearly a century older than me, like to the day. You know, born like November 1884, like late in England. I mean, look, what can you say about Boris? He's the most iconic and recognized horror movie actor of all time. But not only what, of course, most legendarily for the Frankenstein monster, but he also was a real character. You know, go back, watch him on television show doing interviews, his conversations with people. He was a very charming man. He had a lot of admiration, respect for his craft. He was very proud of his movies, and he was likable as hell. And of course, when it comes to what movies of his would you recommend, obviously, the Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, House of Frankenstein, always get the Black Cat and the Raven mixed up. Whichever one Lugosi goes, yes, I like to torture. That's the funner one. But both those movies are more Lugosi's movies than they are Karloff's. Targets was terrific in Targets. And then, of course, I'm giving my golden ticket for this guy to a criminally unappreciated, talked about horror film called The Body Snatcher. Plays Gray the Cabman. And yeah, there's fucking grave robber. Number 2. My number 2. My last chance. Am I sure? Yeah. My number 2 is Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart is the greatest movie star who ever lived. And his performance as Fred C. Dobbs and John Huston's The Treasure of the Sierra Madre is the greatest performance in movie history. And I will hear nothing of it. I don't want to hear it. So, the reason he's not number 1, I'll get to in a minute. But, holy shit, Humphrey Bogart had so much presence and God-given talent. And he wasn't always the same. A lot of people think Bogart was always the same. Bogey wasn't always the same. You watch his outtakes. His outtakes are more compelling and charismatic than every fucking working movie star today. Look, man. Just look up fucking Humphrey Bogart on YouTube if you have to. Watch a couple of clips. He's the shit. Casablanca is legitimately one of the most beloved movies of all time. It's right up there with films like Gone with the Wind and fucking Star Wars. Bogart was the shit. The African Queen was great. He was great in The Big Sleep. He was great in The Maltese Falcon. And yes, Sierra Madre. Top shelf. Top shelf shit there. No, just... I think it was Scorsese who said that his performance in Sierra Madre was beyond something like an Oscar. Giving him just a statue saying, hey, good work, wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have, you know, it's not that it wouldn't have been enough, but it would have meant nothing. You know, because it's just, its existence. This performance, even existing, is an award to us. Appreciate it. Go see it. Masterpiece. Masterpiece. And I'm not just saying that. That is a fucking masterpiece of a motion picture. And my number 1 pick for my all-time favorite movie star is John Wayne, the Duke. Because ultimately, it had to be, man. John Wayne was like... virtually had his fucking picture next to Jesus in my... growing up in my family. He was the Americana, the American concept that there's this dark, violent, cruel history, but staying the course is got us here to a better future. Well, not exactly here because 2022 is proper fucked, but John Wayne was a shit, and I can't even. There's a good chance I have seen 100 John Wayne movies. No fucking fooling. And when it comes to his what was recommended for John Wayne, man? I mean, first off, he only had 2 Oscar nominations. He won for True Grit, which he was great in, and he was nominated for The Sands of Iwo Jima, also great in. There's a very unappreciated matinee-style western he did called Tall in the Saddle, or High in the Saddle, I think it was. Terrific. And then there, well, his brilliantness, Stagecoach, and his, I would say, trilogy of irreplaceable performances. The Quiet Man, Red River, and The Searchers. Talk about a gold star. The whole film gets a gold star. One of the most beautiful looking, one of the most emotionally draining films I'll ever see. Just Duke's scene where he has to explain to his nephews that to his nephew and her, to the other boys searching for the girls with him, that he found the oldest sister back in a cave a while back. He didn't want to tell them. He had to bury her alone. And just his performance getting through that scene is heart-wrenching. It's powerful, powerful shit. And just like Bogart and his Fred C. Dobbs, John Wayne's performance as Ethan Edwards is indescribable. It can only be experienced. Anyhow, hope y'all enjoyed this video. It was really fun. And also, by the way, fuck yeah, Rio Bravo and El Dorado. Cha-cha. Those as well. And the Cowboys. Gotta call out the Cowboys, man. And Big Jake. McClintock's great, too. Anyhow, I'll go off on it now. This was fun. I had a lot of fun doing this video just now. But I hope y'all enjoy these videos. And who was your favorite movie star? Who was your favorite movie star of the modern era? Thank you for anyone who's watching this, anyone who's watched my videos in the past. Subscribe. I didn't go to film school. I don't know jack shit about editing, and I've damn sure never been published. I am just an everyday, average, ordinary Joe. I just happen to be the self-educated movie buff, and have the willingness, and I'm willing to sit through just about any piece of shit ever made. I offer the perspective of just a regular audience member, not someone who wants to sit here and talk about all the fucking nuances. You see a great nuanced performance, something really compelling, and something that just fucking kind of unforgivable work, like George Clooney and Michael Caine, just powerful work in that movie. But yeah, sure, that's great, and I totally agree with you. That's a great fucking movie, and totally deserved to win Best Picture that year, at least be nominated, which it was. But I liked 300. I'm just a movie guy, and I just thank you, appreciate you guys watching my stuff. Thanks. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.